I was very lucky. I had a long history of working in East Africa, and Lake Nature lies next door to Serengeti National Park.
Okay.
But nothing's known about Lake Nature. Very few people went there, and it's just a place that has everything. You know, it has epic, bold landscapes. It has an active volcano. It has 1,000-foot Rift Valley wall. You know, cliff that runs along, you know, one side of this beautiful lake that reflects the sky like a mirror, or at certain seasons turns bright, vivid red. I mean, it's a crazy place, and at this crazy place you have this spectacle which is equivalent to the wildebeest migration in Serengeti, effectively. You know, a spectacle of, you know, thousands and thousands of birds who use this one location as their only breeding ground in the world. You know, it has everything for a big screen film. So.
I was first introduced to the place by a friend who'd been flying over it in a microlight, getting images with a little video camera. He showed us together some footage of it, and it just blew our minds. It was sort of it felt like an art installation. You know, he'd taken these pictures of all those reflections, and so my introduction to the place was through some film footage rather than actually going there, and as I learned more about it, I uncovered more things and didn't realise that when I first saw this footage that this was such an important area for the flamingos, the only place that they breed in. So we picked a good year to make the film. I mean, we didn't expect the volcano to go off, which it did when we were there.
So how often does that?
Every 40 years or something.
Yeah, no, it's
amazing.
Pretty good. We were pretty happy.
Nice part of the film.
yeah, it's visually amazing.
There was initial panic, you know, when the thing first started to erupt. It was like, you know, what do we do here? But I guess we learned to live with it, and it was exciting.
Part of the film shows the very inhospitable or tough conditions of the lake to the birds. But I mean, I imagine that must be quite hard to work in as well. What was your experience of that?
It is, but you know, as a filmmaker, you know, you're out in these places that no one's been to before. You're seeing stuff that no one's seen before. So the compensations of the physical, the difficulty of working in the physical environment there are manifest. You know, it's a privilege.
We were lucky as well because we kind of inherited this old missionary house, which is on the east side of the lake, where we could operate from, and the foundations were there, which we built onto, and made actually a very comfortable camp that we could, if we go out on these missions for a few days to go and film certain things that was generally very uncomfortable, quite dirty work, we'd be able to go back and, you know, rejuvenate there and take a bath in the hot springs and all that sort of stuff. So it was balanced with some very grueling conditions and some good living.
And also I think a lot of people are going to see the film and they will sort of link it in a way to March of the Penguins, just because it's a
it's a wildlife film.
Exactly, and it's a feature, a real feature film. I mean, do you think there's a real future for this scale of wildlife film?
Well, potentially, but for us this was always more than just a wildlife film. I mean, I think that's the point. We wanted this to be a cinema film. And we think we've layered enough in there that takes it a little bit beyond the conventional wildlife format. I mean, certainly Penguins made things possible for us, but we were developing this film before Penguins was released. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the maxims that Disney Nature have developed is that nature tells the most incredible stories, and I think a lot of people's reaction to seeing films like ours is that this is real, this is going on. You know, there's not much of this left, and I think it's a very different kind of cinema experience. It can be really very uplifting and very beautiful, and also at the same time quite sad, as parts of our film is. And so already within nature you have great dramas and great moments of tenderness. So I think these stories deserve to be told in the cinema environment for sure. There
are some very sad moments in the film. I suppose that's the reality of nature, isn't it?
Well, it's the reality of life, you know. I mean, these films have got to mean, you know, something to people, and we all know that life is hard, but, you know, it's nice to know that there is the possibility of renewal, which is what this film is actually really about.
Yeah, I mean, is that hard to film? 'Cause, I mean, you must follow these animals quite closely to work with them. Is that hard to just be an observer and
Well,
see
as
what's happening?
a filmmaker, when you get a dramatic scene, like for example in the marabous of the flamingo colony, you're actually, I would say, pleased and excited.
Very excited.
Because this is what this is the essence of film. To capture dramatic action and movement. So when you're presented with these opportunities, that's what you're looking for. It's difficult, to witness, death on what could be quite a large scale, but it's part of life, and
You've seen much worse, haven't you, in the Serengeti?
Oh yeah.
Lions ripping things apart. So I've seen this film was probably quite gentle by comparison. Very sad, of course, to see these chicks with their anklets and stuff. But
Yes.
We did save a few of these anklet chicks. by the
Oh,
way,
really?
which
Yeah,
is,
we did.
Yeah, we had to chip the soda off their legs with actually very, like a hammer. I mean, it's like concrete.
Really hard to get off.
But for the smaller children in the audience, they might like to know that.
I quite like to know.
This is why we had, Mel write us out, quite an extensive treatment before we went into filming. So
Like a
that
shopping
our
list.
time was, our time was well spent, and we didn't waste time, going in directions that weren't going to deliver anything for the film. We had 13 months filming on this film ready, and that seems like a long time, but that's actually quite a short time to do a 75-minute wildlife movie. So working efficiently is essential, and a template, a guideline is for these films particularly important.
It's your highlight week.
I like the arrivals of the flamingos at the lake. I think that's my highlight.
And I love the shots of the just like a million flamingos in the green that you get, what we got from the air, and just flying over that. It just feels just really epic. So it's a great shot to have found.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned before taking a break, which I'm sure you need after all this. But what would you like to sort of tackle next? Is there
The world's a big place, and these films are lifestyle choices. So, you have to find a topic that will engage, for 2, 3, 4 years. So there's a lot of thinking